Oh, okay. We're live, I suppose. Welcome. Wait, I just gotta check. Um, um, um.
Um,
I think. Oh yes, we're live. Sorry for the delay. Welcome back to Please Don't Make a Podcast. Which, if it continues this way, we're gonna rename to Please Don't Livestream. But for the moment, it's called Please Don't Make a Podcast. This is episode 10, and I'm joined today by Christopher from last week. No, the week before that, and also a cameraless avatar over there called Martin.
hi.
If you've watched the archived streams, you might recognize him as the guy screaming in the chat room. Yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Martin. I'm a movie buff, and I've known both Tobbe and Christopher for longer than I would like to. How do you say? Yeah, admit. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Worst introduction ever. In the future, you'll have to make these introductions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we all know Christopher. Do you want to introduce yourself again?
Yep. Hello again. Yep. I guess that's it.
Yes. We all know him as the guy that loves the Marvel movies.
Yes.
Quick thing before we start, just to catch up since the last time we streamed. Have you watched Spider-Man yet?
No, I haven't.
The new Spider-Man?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay.
Yet.
Okay. But we'll talk about that another time. But yes, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Christopher Nolan, and his new movie Dunkirk. But we're also going to mainly focus on ranking his previous 9 directorial efforts from worst to best. Because I don't know, got to coast on the popularity of Dunkirk, I guess. So that's what we're gonna do. I think we've all made our lists from worst to best, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And I'm not actually sure how we're gonna do this. Are we all gonna do like, my number 9 and my number 9 and my number 9, or we're just gonna do each list on its own?
Well, I actually like the idea of doing like everyone does number 9, and we talk about, each other's choices.
Yeah.
I would agree. I just wasn't sure, so I wanted to ask you.
You're the fucking host of this show.
Yeah, I know.
Get your shit together, man.
Could you imagine? The third time and I'm still not really sure about what I'm doing.
Didn't you say episode 10 in the beginning?
Well, of the podcast, yeah.
Oh, okay, of the podcast.
It's just the third live stream.
Oh,
the other podcast. Well, first of all, the other podcast, I was usually drunk and I was just sitting in my room, just screaming and being paranoid. So this is a little different. I'm sober now.
I'm fine now.
I promise.
Yes. No, you'll have your double vodka. I'll be in the corner kicking the cat. Oh my god. No. So no, but yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do like number 9 and number 8. No, nothing. I'm not even gonna mention it.
Get yourself together, man.
I was gonna mention a meme, but I'm not gonna do it. Okay. So, but before we even do that, we have to. I don't know. I know you've heard Martin. I don't know if you heard, Christopher. Both Martin Landau and George Romero died. I think yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would suggest we do a short moment of silence for those two before we start. So the moment starts now. And the moment's over.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
No,
That wasn't awkward at all.
No,
not at all. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how to do this. I mean, it's sad that they've passed on. Yes,
Yeah.
but I mean, they were both like super old. I mean, people die. Come on.
Romero was 77, right?
Yeah, I think Martin Landau was in his 90s. So
89. I'm checking.
Yeah, 89. So I guess you know, it's life. You know.
Yeah.
So insightful.
I know. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Just, oh my God, what am I saying? But yeah. So and I could just say that me and Danny from the last stream, we're gonna do more of an in-depth thing this Friday about both of those guys. So yeah, I'm just plugging the next stream there. So that's why this one was a little awkward.
Yeah.
But should we just start straight away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who want to go first? Who wants to get all the angry stares first?
Oh, I can do that.
Okay. So, Christopher, what's your number 9?
Number 9, The Dark Knight Rises.
Really?
I'm just gonna, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say
No.
from the start. I know that none of you will agree with neither my number 9 or my number 1. None of you will agree with those two. But I just think that Dark Knight Rises is the least compact movie. It's a lot of, but it's also because it's a third movie and they need to wrap up a lot of stuff and loose threads from different movies and so on. So the movie itself, if you take it away from the context, it's not such a well-rounded movie.
Yes, like a standalone thing, it doesn't really hold up. You have
exactly.
to watch Batman and Dark Knight.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's the weakest for me, at least.
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we, when you're done talking, should we just go to the next number 9, and then at the end, when we all have said
our number 9s?
Yeah, and then start discussing it, or are we discussing it like?
I don't know. I liked how we did it now. Just like a short discussion. I mean, we can discuss as much as we want. It's a free format here.
Okay.
No rules.
Also, one thing I just want to get straight. None of Nolan's movies is bad, really.
No.
All of them are good, but these are just the weakest. Is Dark Knight Rises
the least?
Oh,
the least.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, the least good. But I don't think any of his movies are actually bad. They're really terrific, all of them. Even his
I agree with that.
worst movie for me, The Dark Knight Rises, stands above like a lot of movies.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So his worst is still pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's
Best of the worst.
Yeah.
Worst
Yeah,
of the best.
exactly. Worst of the best.
So that's my motivation behind this. So
Okay.
Sure.
Can I go next?
Yeah, sure.
My number 9 is Dark Knight Rises.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Basically the same reason as Christopher said.
Oh.
Okay.
It's still a great fucking movie, but it's a bit weaker than the rest.
Also,
especially the rest of the Batman trilogy.
Yeah. Also, another thing with Dark Knight Rises is Nolan is always, in all of his movies really, are impeccable with plot holes, and everything is logical and everything makes sense. The Dark Knight Rises have a few things that doesn't make sense. That's kind of just weird.
Yeah.
I'd say I would argue that it's kind of sloppy when it comes to plot holes.
Really?
But there's definitely the biggest plot holes of his career are in
Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises. I would agree with that, definitely.
Also,
But no, I think you could.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was just gonna say that there's like, I mean, I'm not good on plot holes, but I can, from what I remember, there's like a few in Inception. I'm pretty sure there's a couple in even in The Dark Knight plot holes, but we're not going to discuss that now. But I'm just saying, yeah, definitely the biggest plot hole of all Nolan movies are in The Dark Knight Rises.
Also, I would like to say that there's one thing about The Dark Knight Rises that irritates me, and it feels like something the studio, like forced him to do. And it's spoiler alert.
Well, the movie's 5 years old, so yeah, you can spoil it.
The whole Robin thing at the end.
Oh yeah,
it's so lame.
Yeah.
Especially when it's been pretty well documented in the past that he didn't want Robin in his franchise because he thought the character was kind of lame and not.
Really, the whole ending sequence, all of the ending things are really badly done. Really,
it's poorly written, kind of melodramatic.
Yeah. So, the host.
Yes,
your number 9.
So my number 9 is actually The Dark Knight Rises. No, I'm kidding. No, my number 9 is actually Following.
Really? Oh,
yes. Okay. Just like you said, none of his movies are bad. But I think Following was his first movie, which definitely shows.
Oh yeah.
The pacing is way off. The acting, I guess that's the actor's fault, if you want to say that. But I mean, he didn't have professional actors for the most part. I think his way of jumping back and forth between like flashbacks and present day, or I guess I don't know, the now, I don't know what you call it. It gets kind of confusing in a story that really shouldn't be confusing. It's a pretty straightforward story.
Yeah, it is. It's a prime example of a director trying to do something he is not able to do yet.
Yeah, exactly, and doing it way better in his later movies.
Because if you look at other movies like both Memento and The Prestige, for example, you can really see following in them.
Oh, like, yeah, definitely.
They're really like now that he actually can do the thing he tried to do.
Yeah, exactly. And how the jumping back and forth in the timeline, the scenes kind of complement each other, so that it never feels confusing. But in Following, I was confused more than I would like to admit. So, but I mean, overall, for being like the first movie from a guy that he didn't even go to film school. I mean, he was like he was like studying like economy or something.
Yeah, but he kind of worked. Make a movie. He kind of worked on other people's films, like a PA and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, he had no film education.
No, exactly. I think that's very admirable. But it definitely shows that it was his first movie. So that's my choice for the worst, if you will.
But I gotta say, I really like that movie. Even though the pacing was off at some points, I think that actually worked in that movie. That some things didn't work because you get so, as a viewer, you get lost and lose track of the story, just as the main character does. The main character really loses touch, and we follow him down the rabbit hole, and also loses touch of what is happening and how it all connects. And then I really think it's a great reveal in the end, actually.
Oh yeah, the reveal is awesome. I was like,
really?
Yeah, because like
I didn't really care for that.
Oh.
Yeah, because for the last like half hour, I was really feeling the pacing problems, and I was getting a bit confused, like what has happened and what is gonna happen. I don't know really. But when that reveal came, it was like, oh, I fucking get this movie, dude.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Yeah.
I really like it because it's a modern noir. I really like that the vibe he's trying to convey through the movie, but I hated the ending.
Really?
Yeah, it's it's an ending that's or a reveal or something. However you want to. It's unfair.
Because you as a viewer,
Unfair?
It's unfair to the character.
Oh, okay.
The main character, in a way that.
Well,
Well, I think
I
that's
mean,
the point of the movie.
he-
Well, to be a
partly that.
cliche, life isn't fair. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And
in the
if you
movies
wanna,
they are.
and if you wanna like go the, I guess, the moral route, he did become a criminal. So
Well,
I don't know if it was unfair that a criminal got duped by other criminals. I don't know.
I wouldn't. I don't. No, I don't consider him a criminal in that regard, because he's. Fuck, it's so hard to explain, but
You feel like he was he was roped into it, or
yeah, given what he does, he doesn't deserve what he gets.
Well,
they could have made him. It feels like he's written like and played like a much nicer character. A character that, it's so hard to explain. If they would have made him less likable, I would have liked it more. But now it just feels like, it just feels like you're getting kicked in the balls, basically.
But that's why I think it kind of works. That it is a quote unquote likable character that does get the.
Well, it kind of reminds me
stick, if you will.
It reminds me of why I hate the torture porn movies. Like Hostel.
Yeah.
That stuff, because the characters in those films are usually, I wouldn't say likable in that way, but like innocent.
Yeah.
And they never get the revenge
they deserve.
Yeah. It's like The Hills Have Eyes. That movie works just because of the last act of the movie, because they get to do a payback. That's why that movie works. And when the
good guys
characters
kind of win.
Yeah. When the characters just get kicked in the balls and don't get
the just desserts.
Yeah. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can see the point, but I don't agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I see the point, but I don't actually agree. I like a kind of not ambiguous ending, but a kind of downer ending. I like that in movies.
I like downer endings too, but
it also goes very well with like the kind of running theme throughout all these movies about the protagonist kind of having like a not split personality, but like dual personalities, kind of struggling with himself, not really being sure about, am I this person or am I that person?
Yeah.
I mean, we see this definitely in Batman. We have it in Memento. We have it like literally in Insomnia and The Prestige.
Yeah.
So
all his movies really.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think the only exception, without going too deep into it, is Interstellar, but
what
I'm sure it's there too somehow. Yeah, exactly. But well, let's move on to the 8th position. And we're doing.
I would like to do.
No, but I think we're gonna do this the same order every time.
Okay,
so Christopher, Martin, and me, just for I don't know.
No, you have to decide. Are there rules or are there not?
Well, now I just made up a rule, so we're gonna do them in the same order every time. So Christopher, Martin, and then me.
So I have a really hard time with the 7 and 8. Which one? I couldn't decide. I think I switched the places like 5 times before we started recording. But at the moment it's following as number 8. Yeah.
Okay, and I think we just discussed that movie.
Yeah. In depth. So
yeah, so we understand why. Yeah, you picked it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to say anything more about it, or should we just move on?
No, I've said everything I wanted about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, Martin.
My number 8 is Insomnia.
Oh.
For the simple reason that it's, and I know it's the only like studio ordered film he's done, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
It's
technically, I guess Batman was still like a director for hire thing, but he was more involved in that one. He didn't even write the script for Insomnia, so that's definitely his biggest like paid job, if you will.
Yeah. And it's like we've said before, it's a great movie, but in the end, it's just like a basic thriller.
And it's his
with some interesting ideas, and it's a remake, so you can't really praise him for anything more than like you can't say much about the like the script but it's really well directed, really well filmed, great casting, but in the end a basic thriller with some nice stuff added.
Yeah, could you say it's like his most standard movie, if you will?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's Robin Williams is great. Al Pacino's great. Hilary Swank is she's great too, but she has the most like thankless role in the film. It's not a role that requires that much, basically.
I don't know. I think there's definitely some depth to her, I think.
You think?
Yeah, because we start off. She's like this, almost like an adoring fan of Pacino's character, and throughout the movie, she's having to question her, I guess, admiration for him. And spoilers, because this movie is like 15 years old. In the end, she has to. Well, Pacino dies in the end, but she's about to prosecute him for murder. So I think there's a definite arc for her, and like a realizing that the world isn't as simple as she thought it was in the beginning.
Yeah, but I think she's more like an exposition tool. In the film.
Sure, because she's the one that's actually working on the case. They were there to
and that's why I mean it's a pretty thankless job, because she's basically there to like move the story forward when
the rest are like
when the rest are
acting.
When they're busy acting. She's great, as I said, she's great in it, but it's a pretty thankless part, in my opinion.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Christopher?
Well, I was thinking about waiting till it's my turn when it's in my list.
Sure.
So
definitely. You can choose to do that too. So I'm gonna do my number 8, and it's. I also had a lot of problem picking between 7 and 8, and I think this is the preferred order, but I'm not sure. But yeah, my number 8 is The Prestige.
Really?
Yes.
Right.
And I guess that is more. I chose that more on like a personal level, because that was the first movie I watched by him. I'd only watched Memento and Batman Begins before that, but that was the first movie that did actually confuse me with the jumping back and forth. It was only like the second or third viewing that I actually like got the entire thing.
It's funny.
So I guess that's a detriment. And I've never been a super fan of Hugh Jackman. I was I don't know.
What?
No, I mean,
Both me and Marty is
But, okay.
stunned silence. There's a, what are you saying?
no, but other
What is
than
this?
Wolverine, what has he done that is like really iconic?
Well,
And is he really
before the-
iconic as Wolverine as well?
well, do you need to be iconic to be a good actor, or to
No,
be
no, no.
appreciated?
No, but I mean, I get the feeling that's why people like him.
Oh, yeah.
I recently.
Recently, Les Mis, of course.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
haven't
saying
seen
it's.
that.
I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm just saying it's an iconic role. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not.
But I think most of the love for Hugh Jackman, the overwhelming love he has above other actors, is mostly his Broadway appearances.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I would say.
And I don't get that because I
no.
do not watch musicals that much. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I just recently discovered that I'm in fucking love with Hugh Jackman. It was actually when I watched Prestige.
Okay.
For
Okay.
this, and the fun thing is, I don't even like him in that movie.
No, exactly. I don't like him either.
But I found myself just watching and like, God, he's a good actor. And started thinking about. I always like seeing him in movies.
Sure.
So
also, The Fountain.
Oh, The Fountain.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Just
that
checked
movie.
out his movie
Okay.
list. So that's why, just to see.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the Prestige in number 1 now. No. Yeah, but yeah, the
welcome
Fountain.
to the
That is
Hugh-
probably my.
Welcome to the Hugh Jackman podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna talk about the Fountain for the next 16 weeks. No, but yeah, definitely. That is definitely his like biggest achievement in my book as well.
I think so
Even bigger
too,
than
actually.
Wolverine.
Also, when you said Prestige now, Prestige on my list is a bit higher up, but when you started talking about it, I realized that I should have put that like at number 9 because I really didn't care for it.
Okay, and but I have one more reason why I don't like it, and that also very like a personal preference. I think magicians are kind of silly. So it's like 2.5 hour drama about 2 magicians like battling out to the death. I'm like,
I just like that all your criticism toward this movie is, well, I don't like this thing. I don't like Hugh Jackman. I don't like magicians. So this movie sucks.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
best
like
reasons ever.
Yeah, so
yeah, I know.
directing,
But that movie
the
is
writing. No. I hate magicians and Hugh Jackman.
well, yeah, but partly the writing because call me stupid, but I was confused like for the entire runtime the first time I watched that.
Well, I will call you stupid for that. So
okay. But yeah, that movie is so not made for me. I mean, it stars Hugh Jackman. I mean, I don't hate him, but I'm not a super fan. It's about magicians.
Like you hate him.
No. He's a good actor. I just think he gets too much praise from people that just gush over him in the X-Men movies. But anyway. Yeah. So like I said, that movie is not made for me.
Yeah, and the problem
Hugh Jackman as a magician.
The problem I have with it is I don't really get the motivation for the characters.
That's one thing I do get.
Yeah.
I do get the
really. I kind of felt like it was.
Well, it's the same motivation as in like every sports movie ever, or every movie ever about a profession. I want to be the best.
No, yeah, I kind of felt like it was this Wile E. Coyote thing.
No,
I didn't get why. Yeah, I get that. It's like I get why he avenged his wife the first time and shot off his fingers. But after that, it kind of got silly, like a Wile E. Coyote, like thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry, they just fucked with each other just because. It kind of felt. It felt silly.
Yeah.
Also didn't care for the ending.
Well, once again, I do like the ending, just as in because it has that big like reveal. The reveals in the end of his movies are all pretty good, I think. And it's kind of like the same as in Fallen. You realize that there were more people involved in this than we thought, or maybe there were less. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I like the ending, but yeah, overall, it's.
But the thing with the ending is that the whole movie has basically been about magic isn't real, it's just tricks, and you have to learn the tricks, and you have to guard the tricks. You know, like it's all an illusion.
Yeah.
And then you just say "fuck you" to the audience. Magic is real. I kind of thought that was lame.
Not magic.
Is it
it's
magic?
science. It's science.
Exactly. I see it as science.
It's
I mean,
Tesla science.
Yeah, exactly. It's Nikola
Tesla
Tesla.
science is magic.
I know, Martin. I know they thought Nikola Tesla was a warlock back in the 19th century.
Yes.
But we know now that was just electricity and movie trickery. There was never magic. But okay, yeah. I do know. I do see what you're
enemy of God.
I do see what you say. It does feel like the entire movie is very grounded. There's never any real magic, and then at the end it's like clones. Oh, clones.
Yeah, but
so yeah,
do you get my point?
I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just that feels like the best way to explain magic was like, nope, science, bitch.
So number 7.
Yes, thank you.
So Insomnia is my number 7.
Okay.
For the same reasons as Martin. I think Insomnia has a few of the greatest scenes on cinema, I would say. Just the scene with Al Pacino and Robin Williams on the boat, for example. It's a perfect scene, I would say. And just the interactions between those two characters are really interesting and really intense and really magnificent, really. But if you take those scenes out of the movie, it's a boring thriller. It's a boring thriller with some really magnificent scenes.
It's like.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm interrupting.
No, it's like that, and yeah, those scenes really make the movie stand out and make it makes it a Nolan movie and a good movie. But if you just took away those things, those few scenes, the movie's kind of It's a really great craft, but it's like it's paint by numbers. It's
his least. I don't know if you could call his movies personal, but it feels like this is his least personal movie, if you want to call it.
It kind of feels like a Wallander or Beck movie.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that in Sweden we have this terrible series of movies called Beck.
It's actually, it has a name, that kind of a movie, I recently learned.
It's a procedural, right?
Sweden Noir. They're trying to call it. At least the Beck.
They call it a noir.
At least the Beck movies they call either Sweden Noir or Stockholm Noir. And if if you watch the older Beck movies, you know, like the one in subway. What the fuck is that?
Oh yeah, that's called Spår I mörkret.
Yeah,
Tracks
that one is kind of noirish, but it's
about a bunch.
It's like calling
to call.
But one thing that's actually interesting when you mentioned it, that's maybe why we don't really like the Insomnia that much. Well, at least me and Martin.
Yeah.
Because we in Sweden are so used to that kind of movie. We've seen it so many times that it's kind of done for us. But I don't know how it is in America or other places. Maybe that kind of movie isn't that big, and hence the movie gets more praise.
And the fun thing is that Insomnia is a Norwegian movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why
Yeah,
rating it a little lower.
and it's funny because now they've done Wallander in England, the English Wallander, and it's going really well in England. So Sweden will start exporting crappy.
And tarnishing our name even more. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I still think we should do that Beck movie. Ur focus, out of focus.
Yeah. Who just quick? Who said whose list are we on? It's on you, Christopher.
And
right?
I was done. It was Insomnia. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good.
Number 7.
Yes, I was just do you have anything more to say? So just
no, I was done.
Okay. So Martin.
Yes, The Prestige.
Okay. So, yeah, and I think we know why.
So. Yeah, and it's so funny because I would like to change it to the worst, but the list is done.
Nope. Yeah. Yes, the list is done. But I get why you.
Yeah, I've already discussed it. So.
Yeah. Did Christopher? Did you turn your mic off, or did something?
Yeah, I was coughing, so I turned it off.
Oh, okay.
Very nice of you.
Thanks for noticing. And just coughing that I was trying to hide.
Sorry, I thought I hit a button or something. I don't know. So my number 7, and I guess we're all kind of in the same area here. My number 7 is Insomnia.
Oh.
Hey.
Have anything to add?
We kind of agreed on that.
It's.
Yes, I wanted to elaborate on the whole why we don't like. Why we in Sweden don't like Sweden noir.
Yeah.
Or at least why I don't. Because in other countries, or at least like in America or Great Britain, those kind of movies aren't movies. They are TV shows. You have in England you have like Broadchurch and The Fall and Midsummer Murders. They're like TV shows.
Morse, all that. Midsummer
exactly.
Murders, all.
Yeah. And they're treated, they still love them a lot, obviously, but they're TV shows. And same thing in America. I mean, you have all the CSI shows, the NCIS shows, the cold case files, and all those things. But in Sweden, they're not TV shows. They're like big budget movie productions.
Yeah.
And I feel we give them too much.
They're shot like TV dramas, but with a movie budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of insulting in a way.
Yeah, they should put more effort into them because they have good actors, and bigger budgets. I mean, I think the average budget for a Beck film is like a Beck movie. It's like for being a Swedish production, it's like several million Swedish crowns, which is a lot in Sweden.
Yeah, but
they should lower the budget and just do it as a 40-minute like TV show instead of making an hour and a half movie. I don't get that.
It's so unnecessary. Also that they're so obviously a product. It's like a Big Mac. Everything about the movies scream out, cheap entertainment for the masses.
Yeah, and it wouldn't feel as annoying, at least for me, if they did treat it like a TV show. Not saying the TV shows are bad, but they shouldn't call them movies. They're basically episodes in a TV show. They even produce them in like 10 at a time as a season of a TV show. So why not just make it a TV show?
It should be called McDonald's Noir.
No, it should be called a procedural show because that's what it is. They solve a crime, one crime for each episode. That's a procedural. So I think that's why I'm not as into Insomnia, because it basically is a Swedish procedural just made with a bigger budget by a better filmmaker, but it's still a procedural. So that's why I don't. But that's my number 7.
Yeah, I would like to add that our list has been pretty similar. I wasn't.
Yeah, more or less.
I wasn't,
especially number 7 and 8.
Yeah,
I think it's now the big diversions and the screaming will begin.
Yes,
I think.
Friendships
And
will
but as
end.
Yes.
no, as moderator here, so we're still gonna be friends. We're gonna agree to disagree. No, no one is allowed to get too mad, I suppose.
Too mad.
And
gonna try to keep
I'm so sure that you're going to be
Yeah, I
the
know.
one.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it, so I can like control myself here. So yeah,
Okay, so number six.
we're gonna have to try to be civil.
Number six.
Yes,
then?
you can do your number 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if you will agree, but I put Batman Begins as number 6.
Okay. Let me check my list. Yes, you are allowed to be in the stream. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, okay.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie. I don't really have any complaints about it. The only real complaint about that movie is we've seen it before. We have seen the origin story before. It's a lot of yeah, we've done this, we've seen this, and it's a kind of a boring. Out of all Batman villains, it's a boring villain, and yeah, it's like, well, but it's fine. It's a good movie, but it's nothing special. But the only reason it's ranked this high is because
Or low.
the one, huh?
No, you said ranked this high, but I guess it's ranked low. I don't know. Maybe you.
No, yeah. No, I meant that maybe it should have been lower. But the only reason it's
okay.
it's ranked,
Okay.
yeah, the only reason it's ranked this high is because it's really enjoyable. I can see it. I think how many times I'm not getting tired of it.
Yeah. No, exactly. I actually watched that today. So
Yeah.
yeah. And I agree.
Yeah. So that's my motivation.
it's a good
Nothing
movie.
special. I don't really have any
And that's
motivation.
kind of why it's. Yeah, that's kind of why it's in the middle of your list. It's really
Yeah.
nothing special, but good. You know, okay. It's meh. Martin.
Yes, my number 6 is The Prestige.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I basically.
Yeah, we discussed that at length.
Yeah, I basically said what I wanted to say about that. So yeah.
Okay. And
really interesting podcast. No, I've already.
No, I guess that's the problem with this format, that we've already discussed some of the movies.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to discuss them multiple times, but I think it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, my number 6 though, we can discuss that. It's Interstellar.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
And I think I don't know. On a technical level, that movie is like it's like a technical marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every technical aspect about that movie is just great. But I also feel that that's the only thing it really has going for it. The material wasn't even. The movie wasn't made for Christopher Nolan in the beginning. It was supposed to be directed by Steven Spielberg, and I'm pretty sure he was involved in the initial script.
Yeah, it kind of feels emotional, like a Spielberg movie.
Yes, it does feel like a Spielberg movie at times, and I'm not sure that Christopher Nolan is the right director for that kind of material. His movies are usually very stiff, very they're not really that emotional.
Yeah.
Even his like emotional movies like Memento and I guess The Prestige is pretty emotional. There's a bunch of love and hate and stuff. But he doesn't handle human emotions that well usually.
Yeah, he kind of feels cold.
Exactly, and
He
not only
feels
that,
kind of cold as a person too, like a robot in a way.
Yeah, in a way, but I do think in interviews he does talk about his character's emotions and stuff. It just doesn't translate well to screen, I think, when it comes to him. And since that movie is all about love, it just doesn't really work. And also on if you want to nitpick, I don't really like nitpicking, but no, what's her name? What's the Princess Diaries?
Anne Hathaway.
Catwoman in the dark.
Anne-
Yeah, Anne Hathaway. Well, she was in the Princess Diaries. I don't know.
Yeah, what is the first thing you came to mind is the Princess
Actually, yeah.
That kind of is the first thing I think about when I.
The only thing that would make it better is the one your Princess Diary 2, the one.
No, but her monologue about love, like being a physical thing transcending time, dude. That I almost puked when I watched it in the theater.
I remember you mentioning that after you.
It's
saw
so,
it.
and it's not even her
sappy.
fault. It's her. She's a great actress, and he kind of saves that. She's a great actress.
I don't think
Shut up.
she's that great, actually. I think her best work is in The Princess Diaries. She burned out after that.
Okay. No, but I was gonna say I think she sort of like saved that scene, but the dialogue is so terrible. So it's barely acceptable even from her.
For me, the problem with that movie is it's a bit too convoluted. It's trying to be so clever that it forgets that the audience has to stay with it. I when I saw it, I was so confused at times. They usually saved it and explain it, but you need to keep it consistent. And I don't really think it did. A bit too complicated.
I think that's
trying to be clever about time traveling and space, and it kind of felt like Christopher Nolan showing off that he read a book by Stephen Hawking. When you're at a party or something and you try to impress someone and say, "Oh, I actually read about this in the movie." Kind of feels like that, like someone trying to be clever about reading someone else that's clever.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, he did actually, and it's not like he's bragging about reading a book, but he did actually read a bunch of books by what's his name, Kip Thorne.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they portray like a black hole like an orb, basically, because that's Kip Thorne's theory of how a black hole should look. So there actually is a lot of. I actually read a book by this great physicist. So I'm gonna make a movie now.
Also,
yeah.
Also, they do the time travel thing that's from Event Horizon about the bending paper and sticking a pen through it.
Yeah, that's.
Do you know?
But I think that's like faster than light travel or how a wormhole works.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like beat for beat. That scene is from Event Horizon.
That's funny because Event Horizon is.
Stop!
It's a
now
good
we're talking
movie.
about Nolan movies.
No, it's a good movie, but it has one of the worst directors on it ever.
Oh my god! Okay.
Yeah, sorry,
I know. I see what you're saying.
I'm sidetracked.
No.
Admit it.
You're hitting a nerve here. You're hitting. No, I will never admit that he's a bad director. Anyway, we're talking about Nolan here. Yes, Interstellar. We were talking about Interstellar. God, that threw me off. We could do an entire episode about why I love.
We should.
Yes, but that's not today. Interstellar. Yeah.
You live to fight another day, Tobbe.
Yes. It does get a bit convoluted, and even though it's I think it's his longest movie. It's almost 3 hours long. It feels like they're rushing through the third act, I suppose, or the second act. They kind of rush through because they're going to travel to these 3 planets, these 3 very different and exotic planets, and they spend a lot of time on the water planet, I suppose you would call it. And then they just skip the second planet, and then they spend a little bit of time on the third planet, and then we get to the ending. It feels like they hurry through that movie because they realize that we can't make a 10-hour movie, so we're gonna have to skip some stuff here.
They
And
could
I
have
think
skipped
that
some of the stuff on Earth.
yeah, I guess they could, but that's why that movie feels rushed almost, even though it's almost 3 hours long.
I don't agree, but I kind of see what you mean, but I don't agree.
Yeah, but that's probably my biggest problem with it. And I think the actors save a lot of that movie, especially Matthew McConaughey and Princess Diaries, Anne Hathaway. They kind of help to save that movie.
What I'm gonna check what her character's name in Princess Diaries is.
No, it is Princess Diaries. That's her name.
Yeah, she's named Princess. Last name Diaries, first name Princess.
What a horrible last name.
Yes.
Mia Thermopolis.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's just call her Princess Diaries.
Yes, but that's my argument for Interstellar. It's a great movie, but mostly on the technical level. The dramatic levels are a bit off, and it doesn't really feel like Nolan was able to handle it too well. The music is great though, but that's also a technical thing, I suppose.
One thing I really liked was the robots.
Yeah. I have a huge problem with quippy robots, but yeah, that one was pretty good. So
I mostly liked the design.
The design was good.
Because it was so not human. I really liked that.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Interstellar. That's my kind of meh movie.
Sorry to sidetrack again, but I was checking out the Princess Diaries on the Wikipedia. Did you know that it's produced by Whitney Houston?
I did not know that.
No.
I knew it was a Disney movie, but okay.
That's kind of funny.
Well,
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Further proof that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Further proof that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait. What number 5?
Yeah.
Was we on number? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Christopher, you're number 5.
This movie was a lot higher before until I saw it again. Then it fell a few steps. Inception, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I really loved it when it came out. I think I put it at like a 2 or 3 of his best.
Okay.
Then I saw it again for the second time this weekend, and yeah, it was some things that wasn't. I don't know. It was cool. It looked cool, but they were like. For one thing, I was so bored in like all the action scenes.
Okay.
I thought most of all except the iconic one in the hotel where everything is spinning, except that one. All of the action scene was so boring. It was just like
okay.
I don't know. I wasn't engaged at all. I was just like yeah. Get back to the movie now. Get away. Yeah, I think it was only the one in the hotel. The iconic one, and when Leonardo DiCaprio ran through the streets when he was chased
in like Africa, I think it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mumbai, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. So.
I think those were the 2 only action scenes that I was engaged in at all. Then there was a lot of like. That I didn't notice the first time. There was a lot of pulling the heartstrings, like now feel emotional, now you should feel emotional, and you really felt that they were like, you should feel emotional now because there are kids, and don't remember the kids, be emotional, and it was a lot of those things, and yeah, but it's still a good movie, and it's really cool and very original in both the visuals and the storytelling. Or the story. Yeah. But there were a lot of boring parts and a lot of I don't know.
Yeah, so you could say that like just like in my reasons for Interstellar, the emotional parts didn't really work because Christopher Nolan is kind of like a robot.
Yeah. And I think Inception is the one that really feels. You really feel how it doesn't work through the movie.
Oh, okay.
I would say that is the one. So yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna. I don't really have any counterpoints at this moment, but we're gonna talk about Inception later.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your number 5, Martin.
My number 5 is Interstellar.
Hmm.
And I've already kind of said what I wanted to say about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my
I
number
think-
5 then.
I think you need to work on this way.
This
to put
format,
the list.
yeah.
This format needs some work.
Yeah, but I don't know how we would. Let's not work on it now though, because
No.
But no, okay. My number 5 is Batman Begins.
All right. Yeah.
Because I put it a little higher on my list, mostly because once again, for personal preferences, I'm a huge Batman fan. It's like my favorite comic book character since I was a little kid. So, and I think one of the first movies I ever saw was Tim Burton's Batman. I guess that's where it comes from. So even if that movie feels kind of formulaic, it definitely feels like, well, sort of like Insomnia. It does feel like more of a. It's not really his movie as much as some of the other movies he's made. I still fucking love everything that is Batman except for Batman and Robin, and it's that's why I put it a little higher. And I would also argue that when that movie came out, the superhero origin story hadn't gotten tired yet, because I guess Batman Begins was the first of these that used this origin story kind of formula that we have seen so much now with the Marvel movies and the new DC movies. So I wasn't as tired of the formula back then because it wasn't really a formula.
Mm.
But I guess that movie started that trend of telling the origin story to set up a franchise. And that's why it feels a bit more like movie making by the numbers, even by his standards.
All right, so number 4 then.
Yeah.
Yes, let's see if it's a new movie.
So Interstellar for me.
Okay. I think we talked about that.
The reason I put it as high as I did is because that movie, yes, it's long, but it feels huge. It feels like an event, and the thing that and when you're saying it's rushed, I think the opposite. I think it takes its time and it goes like the whole part on the Earth. And it's just a build up for the middle part, and it's just I think it's a greatly paced movie, really.
I think it's so slow.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit too long and a bit too slow.
But I think that's one of the things I like, that it's slow, and then it really when you say it's rushed, that's when it like picks up pace, and you have been comfortable with the slowness, and then you get this really fast paced a lot of things happen at the really fast, and it throws you in the same what do you say, you get the same issues and the same confusion as the characters in the movie, because of this. It's weird, and then the slowness in the end of the movie, it starts to become slower and calmer just as the character starts to calm down in their thing.
Okay.
One thing sorry, Tobbe.
No, I was just gonna ask, when you say that it slows down in the end, I mean, do you mean the end? The end? I guess we could spoil the movie's 4 years old.
Yeah. I'm talking about when he goes around and I don't even remember this, the time stream or the bookshelf thingy.
Yeah.
That
do you mean it slows down at that moment?
Yeah, I think it slows down. It slows down like I got a sense of calm in that.
I felt super stressed in that scene.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, I that's like one of my favorite scenes in the movie
Yeah,
because
it is because it's beautiful and it's practical
oh,
effects.
yeah, I know they built that room. I mean, like 90% of it is real. That's amazing.
I
But
didn't know that. That's
Oh, really?
amazing.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, you should watch. You should watch the documentary.
Oh.
It's insane how much of that movie is actually practical, and that's why I think that it's a technical marvel. That's why I said that before.
But
It's insane.
I will also say, after I heard you guys talking about it before, I was thinking, oh, I should have rewatched that one because I haven't seen it since it came out, and that's like 3 years ago.
Yeah, 2014.
So my memory isn't that good regarding it. I'm just telling what I felt at the moment, but maybe I would feel different if I resaw it because I more remember feelings than the actual things that happen on screen.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we're an hour in now, but I think we should say these are like personal preferences. I don't think we're like grading them on that this is the way it is. I would probably do a different list.
It is a fact that Hugh Jackman is.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
One thing though, in Interstellar, the ending when he wakes up and he's on Earth again, and his daughter is an old woman and all that.
Oh.
I kind of felt, it felt wrong. That's not very constructive, but
it's wrong. It's blasphemy. It's magic. Ah. Okay, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, but it kind of felt like one of the dream sequences from 1408. You know, the John Cusack horror movie. When he thinks he's out.
Oh.
It had the same vibe as that because I didn't buy it. It felt too perfect.
Yeah, I would agree that they kind of try to wrap it up towards the end, like, oh well, because they really put him on the spot there when he like is removed from time and he's in that bookshelf room.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, but we found him later, so he's okay. He's okay.
Yeah. It's
a bit of a Hollywood cop out.
Yeah. It's like if they would do the same thing in like 2001. Space Odyssey. Like he's traveling through space and time and sees himself as a baby and all of that, and suddenly he's back on Earth. Good thing we found you.
It's it's okay, and the comparisons are just here that between 2001 and Interstellar.
Yeah, definitely. It's
of those two movies. I think Interstellar is definitely more easier to follow. Because it's a big Hollywood production.
Yeah. Also, another thing with Interstellar that I really like, that I maybe you think it's something negative, but I think it's positive. That it really is like three different movies.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's the same as in. I'm not comparing the movies in how good they are, but it's the same thing like in Deer Hunter. You have this first movie before the war, middle movie in between the war, in the war, and then the last movie after the war. And I think it's the same thing in Interstellar.
When you mention that, another movie that has that vibe is Born on the 4th of July.
Oh, I haven't seen that actually.
You haven't seen it?
It does feel. No. It's a bit episodic. Yeah.
Yeah. In a good way. I don't agree with Interstellar.
No.
But I like.
I do to some degree. But because they set up in the beginning of the movie like we have 3 missions. This planet, and this planet. Now go to the first one.
Yeah.
Now go to the third one.
One thing I didn't like was the documentary bits.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care for them. It felt amateurish.
It feels a little bit off to have them in the beginning, but it makes a lot of sense in the end, and I think that part actually feels like a pretty good wrap up. More than him waking up there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else. about that movie. Now I can.
Yeah. So
see here.
that was my number 4. So
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think. Yeah, I think I said everything I was gonna say.
Okay, my turn.
Yes, you're number 4.
Batman Begins.
okay.
Okay.
And when you
We
talked,
kind of did the same.
yeah, and I realized when I was listening earlier that fuck, I should have put it higher on the list. But,
Higher, really?
yeah, yeah. I when you talked about it, I realized how much I liked it.
Okay.
I like it more than I remember.
Okay. Well, it's number 4 on your list, so
Yeah. The one thing that I really like about it is the whole thing that Batman went away. Bruce Wayne went away and became a samurai ninja.
Yeah.
And came back with that
Okay.
knowledge and became Batman. I really like that angle of Batman, that he learned, like meditation and fighting with katanas and all of that. The whole Asian,
the setup, the
the whole vibe. I really like that angle, and it's a really good origin story. And that is something we're not spoilt with, good origin stories nowadays.
True.
In my opinion.
but because it was a good origin story, it does feel like it kind of ruined movies that came after that, because everyone wanted to try to beat Batman Begins.
Yeah, but you can't really blame Batman for that. You have to blame Marvel.
Yeah, I suppose.
And the whole cast is great. What's his name from 28 Days Later? Fuck, what it?
Well, that guy.
28 Days Later.
28 Days
Scarecrow.
Later.
Scarecrow.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy.
Oh.
Yeah, he's so great as Scarecrow.
But actually, he's always great.
Yeah, he's always
everything.
And I think that's why they bring him back in every Dark Knight movie.
We should
have kept him in the movie. Write him into the next one.
I really like that about the whole series, that he's something like a connecting point in all of the movies. It should be called Jonathan Crane Knight.
Jonathan Crane Begins. The Dark Crane Rises.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, it's also kind of fun. Oh yeah, definitely. And I think that starts with Batman Begins. After that, there's always like almost a perfect cast in every movie he makes.
Yeah. One thing, he casts Michael Caine in almost all of his movies, and that is something.
He is in every movie. From Batman Begins and forward, he's in every movie.
And he's in The Prestige. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And that's one of the things I don't like, because I don't really care for Michael Caine most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with Michael Caine is with a lot of actors, he would always play Michael Caine. Exactly. A lot of actors have that, and it's not great, but I don't think it's not his fault. He's still a great actor who do portray great roles.
It's like Mark Wahlberg. That's also an actor that's always Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, true.
But the stellar cast, stellar direction. I love the bat suit. I'm not that fond of the Batmobile though. I like the idea of it being a tank, because that kind of fits with the whole. It's in a real world. Yeah. But it kind of looks. It's not aesthetically pleasing to look at.
No.
They kind of fixed it in the other movies.
I also
aesthetics.
I also think a big. I don't know. It's something. But it's only my own perception of what I think Batman is.
Yeah.
And that's like Batman is supposed to be like this, sneaking in the shadows, the monster lurks. A big tank going through town that's not sneaky in any way at all. So
and also one thing that I don't like, that, and this is a unpopular opinion.
Mhm.
I prefer the design of the Ben Affleck Batman.
What his suit or
Yeah, the suit, and like, because Christian Bale is very like sleek, very ninja, and I like the whole ninja, and it makes sense.
Mhm.
But I prefer the Ben Affleck, like he's a big fucking dude, and I love the old school bat symbol.
Mhm.
But yeah, but I
so what?
really
So what
Ben
you're
Affleck.
saying is you prefer Batman vs Superman over the Dark Knight movies?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, said no one ever.
Well, there are people that argue that though. There are
What?
actually people. That
Really?
Yep.
No.
Yeah,
Trolls. It has to be trolls.
Yeah, it has to be trolls.
There is this video. Quick sidetrack here. Do you guys know who Bobby Burns is? I think we talked about him on the Marvel episode.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay. And he made he's a YouTuber who sometimes review movies. And he gave a very scathing review of Batman vs Superman, like most people did. And he got a lot of hate from like DC fanboys from that, and he actually got like a video response from a guy arguing against his every point about Bobby saying this is why it's bad, and he's saying no, that's why it's good. And it's like watching a person like a demented person trying to like make sense of the world. It's insane. He's like, no, it's actually a very, very good movie. It's intellectual. It's complex. What are you talking about? There are people out there arguing for that movie.
Popped into my head was Brad Pitt in 12 Monkeys when he's rambling.
Almost, yeah, almost.
When he's rambling about the world. yeah, I don't prefer Batman versus Superman over the Dark Knight trilogy.
No, that's something we all agree about.
But I will say this, that I really liked Ben Affleck as Batman, and I really liked the suit.
Oh.
Yeah.
There, I said it.
You can think.
Okay.
You can have that.
And I'm pretty interested in seeing what the solo Batman movie will be like.
Me and Danny are going to discuss that on Friday. Yeah,
nice. I'll tune in.
Yes, let's continue.
I'm thinking. Liam Neeson as the bad guy. It's pretty boring. He's a pretty boring bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking. I didn't mean Scarecrow. I mean Russell Gould.
Yeah,
to be clear.
But he's barely in the movie. I guess that's
yeah.
why.
I know. Yeah, I know, and that make it even worse. That it's like the big reveal in the end. Like the movie is almost over. And it's like, but I was the bad guy all along.
It's kind of like Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises has the same problem.
Oh,
with
yeah,
his
true.
daughter.
True. Very true.
She comes in like 1.5 hours into the movie. You're like, hi, I'm not a bad guy. And she's a bad guy because IMDb.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's in the ending and she dies and whatever. Fuck it, spoiler alert. Christopher is coughing again.
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
There's no point in muting it. We're gonna say it every time. Okay. Let's move on to my number 4 then.
Yes.
Everybody, shut up. It's my number 4. My number 4 is Memento.
Oh,
really?
Yes.
I thought that would be higher for you.
Yeah, same here.
I thought so too.
That.
Yeah, I also thought that it would be higher up on your list.
Well, to elaborate on it, then this is a list of 9 movies I really, really like.
Yeah.
And it's number 4 on my list. So, but why? Once again, it's the same problem I have with Interstellar. The technical aspects of the movie, the way he tells the story, is very, very interesting. I'm pretty sure that's like unique to that movie to tell the story in like backwards and fragmented like he does.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Irreversible is backwards, but it's not in the same way.
No.
But
Wait, no.
if you,
Isn't it in the same way? Irreversible?
I'm not sure. I actually haven't seen the entire movie.
I think it is told in the same way, actually.
Oh,
As
okay.
a-
Well, yeah,
as irreversible.
Yeah.
yeah.
That movie, though.
Oh yeah.
Actually, me and Tobias
Yeah.
talked about that earlier today.
Uh-huh.
Or was it?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was very early this morning.
Yeah.
Talked about it, but yeah. But let's say you you watch Memento in the right order. You watch every scene in the right order, which
Don't they
means
have-
that you also watch. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that, Martin.
Okay.
Okay. Because yes, on the DVD, the DVD I have of Memento, there actually is an Easter egg. This one, this version of the movie, there is an Easter egg where you can watch the movie in the right order, which means that they put the black and white sequences first. All of those are like the first scenes of the movie, and then you just you watch it in the right order, and you quickly realize that it's just a regular revenge movie about a guy walking around trying to figure out who killed his wife, and most of the time it's kind of boring because it's just him talking to people he doesn't recognize. And the thing that makes that movie good is the way he tells the story. Like I said, on a technical level, it's very, very interesting. But on a dramatic level, it's just a regular movie.
Now, when you mention it, it kind of gets a bit gimmicky.
I don't think it gets gimmicky.
Not gimmicky, but it's more style over substance in a way, maybe.
Yes. But I wouldn't really say that it's not like it's not style over substance like in the Matrix sequels. It's almost like a cinematic experiment. Like, can you tell a movie backwards? Can you make the audience experience what it is to have short-term memory loss, which you kind of do?
Yeah.
And in that sense, the movie works great.
Yeah, but
at its core, it's just a regular revenge movie.
Yeah, but that whole thing, can you tell the movie backwards or in a different order? Pulp Fiction did that like a couple of years earlier. So it doesn't...
Yeah, but that's not the same thing.
It kind of is. I kind of feel like it is.
No, I would have to.
Because the only difference between Pulp Fiction and Memento in that way is that Memento is totally backwards, and the Pulp Fiction has cut it up and rearranged it, and it kind of when I think of it like that, the Memento is kind of a shitty movie in a way.
No, you see, that's why I put it this high up on the list. Even if the story is very and simple, the way the story is told makes it a close to unique movie. So that's why it is good. But I think that's why it's not like my number 2 or number 1 on my list. Because not counting Irreversible, it's like it's a unique, one of the more unique movies when it comes to storytelling.
Is it that unique though? When you think about Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, do you have any other examples?
But that's not told in reverse. Then I would argue that...
No, it's not told in reverse, but it's the same basic idea.
But then I would argue that The Prestige is more like Pulp Fiction.
I would say, actually, I would say that it's not the same thing because for some reason, goes back to third movie, I go back to that. The way the movie is told makes the audience feel like the character in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't happen in Pulp Fiction. In Pulp Fiction, it's just... In Pulp Fiction, if you're going to go like this, in Pulp Fiction, there it's like just a fun gimmick. That doesn't help the story in any way. It doesn't tell the story in a better or interesting way. But in Memento, the way they tell the story actually makes the story. As Tobias said, if you take away this, so you say, gimmick, the movie is not good anymore because it's nothing special. But with the way they tell it, the story gives meaning, and you feel the feelings that the character feel. While
exactly.
in
Yeah,
Pulp
okay,
Fiction,
yeah, you
here it's a
definitely
gimmick.
you have a point. I
Yeah.
I actually when you explain it like that, I'm totally wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah, well, thank you, Christopher, for explaining. And fuck you, Tobias.
What? What did I do? I said the same thing.
Yeah, but Christopher said it
wrong.
better. No, sorry. Yeah, you're
Okay.
you're both right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
believe
why.
in-
But you forced me to watch 12 Feet Deep yesterday, so fuck you.
Oh,
again.
come on!
I don't even know what that is.
Stick to the list.
Lucky you! Lucky you, Christopher! I envy you.
Quick. Okay, let's just.
Yeah,
Can I just defend that really, really quickly? Last
No.
night. You
No,
shut up.
don't.
This is my stream. I'm gonna mute you. Last night, or really, what's today? Monday? Yeah, this Saturday, I found a trailer for a movie called 12 Feet Deep, which sounds like porn, but it isn't. And we're gonna get to that.
Excuse me, it's actually called 12 Feet Deep Trapped Sisters.
I was gonna get to that. It's a movie about two sisters getting trapped in a swimming pool. You know, the Olympic, the rectangular swimming pool. And they get trapped under the tarp they lay out when they close, and they have to survive the night.
It's a fiberglass tarp.
Yeah, so they can't just climb out. So they're stuck in the water, and that's the entire movie. And I was watching the trailer and I was thinking, no, this isn't a real movie. This is fake, right? And I looked it up. It was a real movie. And I thought, this could be the worst movie ever. We should watch it.
And it was.
It was one of the worst movies ever. I don't know. That's why I want to watch it. Why?
No,
Yeah,
but the thing is, I love watching entertaining bad movies. I'd rather watch. I'd watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I'd watch that once a week for the rest of my life before I saw 12 Feet Deep.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't
badly written, badly acted, and so fucking boring.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Suffered. And Tobias has been trying to defend the movie.
No! Stop it! I said before when we were talking in your kitchen, I was not defending the movie. I just thought that nitpicking about what happens after the movie doesn't make sense. Just stop it. I'm not defending the movie. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. However, I thought it was going to be so bad that it became good, like Troll 2. It wasn't that, however. It was just bad. So yeah, it was a bad call for me.
We only laughed one time, and that was at the title, 12 Feet Deep.
Yes.
Trapped Sisters.
Yes, because 12 Feet Deep sounds like a porno. And then they added a subtitle to the movie called Trapped Sisters. Which makes it sound even more like a porno.
Well, it is inspired by true events, I can see from IMDb.
That's the thing. Tobbe read an interview blurb from the director, and he said something like, "Yeah, it's like a nightmare I had, so it's basically kind of like a true story."
Yeah, it's bullshit. They added the based on true events just to make it sound more exciting. That's a bullshit PR move. But let's not.
I just want to go on record to say that director should be locked up.
Okay, so that's
what was it? Nolan? Was it?
Yeah, Nolan.
Yes, exactly. I just felt I had to defend myself there. Where were we? We were on my number 4. So it's Christopher, number 3. My number 4 was Memento. Just to reiterate.
And my number 3 is Memento. For the same reasons. I think it's the perfect marriage of a story and a way to tell a story. Really.
Yeah, to make a generic story sound interesting.
Yeah, the story in itself is nothing special. The way to tell it is nothing special, but those two together, it's really special. It's just a perfect marriage, really, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say.
And I guess that's why it's so it's so celebrated as a movie.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Memento.
Okay. I guess for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was the most boring. I was actually expecting us to, like argue more, and that our list would be so, like removed
Different.
from each other's, but we basically made the same list.
Yeah, more or less.
Just so you know, we have two. We have 1 and 2 left, and I haven't mentioned Prestige yet. So
Yes, and
Yeah.
my number. We haven't. I haven't said my number 3 yet. So
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I haven't mentioned. Well, I guess your number 3 was Memento.
No.
Did you want to add anything to that, Martin?
No, not really.
Okay, so my number 3 is The Dark Knight Rises.
Da da da.
So
Da-da-da.
can you defend?
What?
Can you defend this?
No, I can't. Yes, I
End
can.
of podcast.
Yes. You know what? I don't want to do this anymore. You can just go home now. No, I yeah, because I mentioned this before. I'm not good at nitpicking problems in a movie. I sometimes when they're really obvious, and therefore I don't think when I review a movie, I don't feel like smaller nitpicks should like lower the score of a movie. So while I do see a lot of the faults with The Dark Knight Rises, especially the plot hole of the century, how does he get from Mongolia back to Gotham City in like a day? I don't know, man.
He ran really fast.
He ran, yeah, because he has no money. He doesn't have any mode of transportation, but he's just like, hey, I'm back in Gotham, people. Hey.
That's really just. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's really the
No.
everything in The Dark Knight Rises, especially, is solved with "I'm Batman." That's just
Yeah,
I'm
baby.
Batman.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think that is what makes that movie good, or why I put it as my number 3.
Okay.
Because if you disregard the things that doesn't make sense in real life, since it is a movie, it is a very well told story of, I guess, redemption, absolution. It has one of the greatest on-screen villains of all time, in Bane.
Yeah.
Fine. I
It's-
don't agree.
Okay.
I agree, but I'm
But-
reserved about it.
Okay, but I'm also where people are gushing over Hugh Jackman. I gush hard over Tom Hardy. So
Pun intended.
that's also a reason. Yes, pun intended. So that's a big part of it. But
one thing that I forgot to mention about Dark Knight Rises. Fuck, I forgot.
okay,
No,
wait, yeah,
fuck.
you got it. Yeah.
Oh, it lost again.
Yeah, it's lost. Sorry.
Okay,
I'll
maybe, but
interrupt
I'll
you
keep
if
going then. Yeah, exactly. So and it's kind of the when it came out in 2012, we had recently had a lot of like, big what do you call it, like big blockbuster movies. I mean, the same year we had the Avengers movie, and like we had a lot of those, and in 2011 we had Transformers Dark of the Moon. And both those movies, they end with them like blowing up an entire city. The last like 40 minutes of both those movies are just people pushing buildings over and just destroying entire cities.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Rises did, that was like the antithesis of those two movies, especially those two movies, where instead of like blowing up Gotham City, they kind of kept it smaller. But at the same time, that movie felt very, very epic, especially if you measure it next to Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. So without going like mind-numbingly explosions and like huge robots and spaceships and all that, it felt very conserved, but at the same time, on an emotional level, it felt very epic, and I liked that. it was like the most reserved, huge movie I've ever seen. And I think that's much because of Christopher Nolan. And I also think that it kind of wraps up the Dark Knight trilogy, more or less perfectly.
And now I remembered.
I think I'm almost finished.
Yeah, sorry.
Because nowadays, or really, like always, it's very hard to finish a trilogy and to satisfy most fans of this trilogy. And I think I think the Dark Knight trilogy is as close to a perfect trilogy as you can get without actually calling it a perfect trilogy. And that's because of The Dark Knight Rises. So that's why I put it that high up on the list. And it has just like Batman Begins, it has some amazing physical effects. I mean, they actually built that flying thing he has, the bat.
Yeah, that's so cool, actually. Yeah, one thing. The whole motivation of him becoming Batman again felt very forced.
Really?
It kind of felt like I'm a recluse. Fuck it, I'm Batman again.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, without going too far into the story, it doesn't start out with him thinking, "Oh, I'm going to become Batman again." It begins with Catwoman stealing his mother's pearls. So he gradually gets sucked into this plot, and he realizes that Batman is needed again. I think it works kind of organically.
I know that's what it says in the script, but it kind of feels
that's what it says in the movie.
Yeah, but it feels stressed, and it doesn't feel like.
I agree with that.
Okay.
That my biggest problem really with Dark Knight Rises is that it's I get pulled out of the movie. I can't get immersed because there's so many parts where I just how it's like it's so many.
How the fuck do they work?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, and all movies have those moments, sure.
Yeah.
But if there are too many and too close in between them, you get pulled out of the movie, and you're not invested in the same way.
Depending on the size of the why and how.
Yeah, and then that's where Dark Knight Rises loses me, because there are too many and too close in between. Especially at the end of the movie.
Yeah, for me,
I really hate the maybe one day I will see you at another table, blah blah blah, with your family.
Well, okay,
I hate that.
Then we're gonna have to discuss this. That is the epitome of an ambiguous ending. Because, and if we're gonna get into storytelling and how Christopher Nolan tells stories, especially when it comes to ambiguous endings, the fact that Bruce Wayne is sitting there in the end, that doesn't mean that Bruce Wayne is actually sitting there in the end. We don't know if that is a dream or if that is like what Alfred wants to have happened, or if it actually happened. The only thing we know, because stupid Hollywood cop-out, is that Batman isn't dead. We know that. But the fact that he's sitting there, that doesn't have to be fact, if you will.
And that's one of the biggest problems I have with Nolan as a director.
That's what makes him so exciting to watch.
No.
Ambiguity.
Because it's almost borderline. It borderlines on the what's his name? Lost creator.
Oh yeah, J.J. Abrams.
No, come on.
The writer.
Okay.
David Lindelof. No.
Yeah, it kind of borderlines on that.
No, come on.
No, of course, he's worse. He's a fucking hack. Nolan is not a hack. But do you get what I mean? Because it's always very ambiguous in his movies, and it kind of gets irritating.
No, it's ambiguous.
Sometimes you want a clear answer what happened. I'm not saying that I needed to know if Batman lived or not in Dark Knight Rises. I
hated that part.
The only part. He's always very ambiguous. All his endings are very ambiguous, and it kind of feels like a formula. and it's kind of boring. And he's not like Lindelof, because as I said, he's a fucking hack. I hate him with a passion.
I just wanted, Tobias.
Yes.
What is ambiguous with that ending in Dark Knight Rises? There's no indications or question mark that it is that is not real. I mean, if they ended with like Alfred only seeing the back of his head or only profile, yeah, sure, I can see it. But in this ending, he actually turns to him, and they do like this little toasty thing, and it's the only way I can say, well, it could just be a dream, is if you decide that, not that the movie in any way indicates that.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
If I'm wrong, tell me. I can't see how that's ambiguous. I
Yeah,
can't.
no, I agree with that. That it's more of a personal thing that I see it as ambiguous.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, it's not like the Inception ending. I mean. Like,
oh no, we're gonna get to that. Speaking of good ambiguous endings.
Yeah. One of the best, actually.
Yes. I just because
it's your head canon.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
In my head, it's very ambiguous.
Yeah.
No, but I just how can I explain it?
I see what you mean. But I see what you mean, but I can't see it.
No, yeah, I suppose I read into it too much, and I kind of wanted it to be ambiguous. Now that I think about it, but I mean, if you remove the scene where they say that the plane had a remote control thing that that they throw in just before that scene, just to tell you, don't worry, we didn't kill Batman. If you remove those, like I guess it's like 15 seconds, the movie's like totally up for grabs. And we could imagine that Alfred is just feeling that Bruce Wayne is at peace now.
And that's what I'm saying. It would have been a much better ending, really, if it had been more ambiguous, as you see it. If we only have seen the back of the head of someone at the cafe, and Alfred did their recognition from there, that would be a good ending. But I think as the ending is, as you see it, without sitting down and making up your own reason for the ending, just watching the ending, I would say nah.
No. So. But I also got to mention then, I don't know if this makes any sense, but a lot of people see that as a plot hole, like, oh, how could Bruce Wayne, if you argue that Bruce Wayne is still alive, how could Bruce Wayne find out exactly where Alfred was in the end? And I don't know if that helps me or not.
I actually see that ending, and what I took away from it was that Alfred knew Bruce Wayne's favorite place. Kept going to that place, hoping to see him, and then
this. Batman is called the greatest detective on Earth.
Alfred.
No, Batman.
Oh
yeah.
So it wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, but it's also actually explained in the movie. Just to let's say to squash that plot hole. Now, not to try to justify my theory about ambiguous endings. Let's just squash that plot hole, because it is one of the things that people complain about the most. Why did Bruce Wayne manage to find Alfred in Portugal?
I've actually never heard that criticism before, but okay.
Oh, really? People just okay. I don't know. I've heard it a couple of times. Maybe it's not the biggest thing, but the thing is, Alfred earlier in the movie, just after Bruce Wayne has become Batman again, the first time he comes home after chasing Bane on the motorcycles, they have the conversation about Alfred not wanting to see Bruce Wayne die. They stand in the stairs, in Wayne Manor.
Yeah, and then he tells him.
Yes, he says every year I take a 1 week vacation where I go to, I think it's Portugal, I don't remember. I go to Portugal, and every day of that week I sit down at the same cafe, I read the newspaper, and I order a Fernet Branca. I do remember that. And every time I go there, I'm hoping to see you, because I'm hoping to see you sitting there with a wife, maybe a couple of kids, and they just want to see that you're fine, that you found your purpose in life.
Yeah.
And that's when you see that when the guy looks up and it isn't Bruce Wayne in that sequence. So Bruce Wayne does know where Alfred is because he goes to the same place every year, every day of that week. So just if he wanted to turn up there and say, "Hey, I made it," that's how he would have done.
And as I said, Batman is considered the greatest detective in the world, so it wouldn't be that hard for him to track him down.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yes. But the thing about it being ambiguous, I guess that's more in my head.
Yeah, it is.
But
it is.
yeah, but that's how I see it. I guess that is. It doesn't justify it, but I see the movie that way, and it works for me. So that is ambiguous. I don't know. No, that's a bad argument. That's a really bad argument.
Well,
but I mean,
well,
it
explains some things why you like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Even though it's not a legit reason, but sure.
Yeah, I guess. Damn it! I'm gonna rewatch that. Maybe I don't like it. I don't know. Anyway, that's no. I stand by my list for now, at least.
Right.
But that was my number 3. So let's go to your number 2, Christopher.
Yep. The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay. I wasn't listening. So your number 2 is The Dark Knight. Okay.
Yes.
Reasons?
Really? Do I need one? It's a fantastic movie. There's
the only thing you need to explain is why it's not number 1.
Okay, why it's not number 1? Okay, why it's not number 1?
Yes. Oh, okay.
That's a good question. I don't. Well,
no, but let me just help you a little bit. I can see why it's hard to say what's bad about it because there's not really much to say. But it's not your personal favorite, so that's
no, exactly. It's like I would say well, it's really no surprise since I'm at number 2 now that my number 1 is The Prestige.
Yes.
And I just think that's more enjoyable. That's the only reason, really. So
it's kind of hard, it's hard to explain why The Dark Knight is good because everyone think it's so good. It's like it's kind of like explaining why you like
why sugar tastes good.
Yeah, exactly. Why is air good for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I gotta say,
it's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, I gotta mention, even though we said in the beginning that these are 9 movies that we all like, but we're ranking them from quote unquote worst to best. We have really only pointed out what we don't like about the movies, even though these are movies we do like. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's because we know each other really well, and I kind of we talk movies like every time we talk about movies.
Yeah.
So I kind of know everything. At least I know more about Tobbe's taste in movies than yours, Christopher, because you live so fucking far away. So I don't get to talk to you that often.
But I would say, actually, I think the reason why we point out what we don't like about the movies is because if we're going to point out the things we like about the movies, we would be sitting here all night.
Yeah, and
exactly.
I think we pointed out some good things.
Yeah, but
sure, definitely. Now that we got higher up in the list, we started pointing out the good stuff too.
But it's more things we like than dislike. So then it's the list to talk about is shorter if we talk about things we dislike.
Trying to be objective.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I would say the only thing that I have a problem with Dark Knight is, and it's barely a problem. It's the only thing that they really don't use Two-Face enough.
Yeah,
that's the only.
He feels a bit underused.
Yeah, he's underused, and he's more or less not needed in the movie.
but at the
Really
same
cool.
time,
He's a really cool design, and I understand why he's there, and I understand that they're not trying to make him a villain, a super villain. They're just a troubled man.
he's
Uh,
he's a plot device, basically.
yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
I was gonna mention that he is well, once again talking about duality and split personalities. He is like the embodiment of Gotham City almost in that movie.
And it's
Like there's the bad side and the good side,
and also
how you can corrupt the good of Gotham.
and
So yeah, he works more like a MacGuffin.
But
than
at the
actual
same
character.
time, Christopher, what could you do more with Two-Face? I think, yeah, in a way he's underused, but at the same time, how much can you do with him?
well, I for starters, I wouldn't use him.
But he's used.
You mean you would have cut him out of the movie?
Yeah, I would have cut. Yeah, I would have cut him out in the movie. Yeah,
But but then the whole duality of the story kind of gets lost, I think, because Batman is almost more of a side character than what's his name before he becomes Two-Face?
Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent. Yeah, I mean he's almost more prevalent in the movie. Before he becomes Two-Face, he's like almost the star of the movie.
Yeah,
he's definitely the protagonist.
Yeah, I wouldn't cut out Harvey Dent. I would cut out Two-Face.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Then you get
his.
But then the whole movie falls if you do that, because the whole movie rests on that you need to be a bad guy. You live long enough.
He falls from grace.
Yeah, exactly. And Batman has to take the fall for Harvey Dent.
I need to.
So the whole movie kind of falls.
I need to rewatch the movie, but at the moment, as my memory, reviewing from my memory, I don't agree. But I need to rewatch it.
Okay.
I don't have a specific argument, specific scene to point at. This was so long ago I see it. So but I don't agree.
If you want to watch it.
What?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. I was.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Begins and Begins and Dark Knight, not Rise.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying
in
to.
typical Netflix fashion.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about watching all three this weekend, but I didn't have time.
Because that's like 10 hours almost.
Yeah, and I had to see Following and Insomnia first. So
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. No, nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to add at the point.
Tobias, can you do something about your light?
Yes, I can. Hold on.
yeah, but just to clarify, I still really like Dark Knight and I really like Two-Face. I just think that's the weakest point of the movie, but it's still.
Stop talking shit about me.
but it's still a high point, even though it's still a high point.
Yeah, the thing I understand. I don't agree, but I understand.
Yeah.
We're so polite to each other.
yeah.
Well,
I don't think
friends.
we've ever been. I don't think we've ever been so polite.
Yeah.
It's always like, yeah, your opinion. You're a fucking dumbass in real life.
Your opinion is invalid.
Yeah, we clean up our act for YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that because I wouldn't say professional, but it feels like we chalk it up to professionalism, since we're on the spot here.
There's a Swedish saying, "Pärlerutin." That is what we're doing.
Okay.
Cleaning up our act for YouTube. That's Pärlerutin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of the biggest cesspools of the internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 2.
Cool.
Yes. So Martin.
Inception.
Okay.
And it's basically one reason. It's so fucking. It's a heist. Just the description, the pitch of the movie says it all. And it's what the pitch of the movie is why it's number 2 on my list.
Okay.
It's a heist movie in dreams.
Yeah. The slogan is. Oh no, that's not real. Well, Nothing. It didn't have the actual. No, I was sure the slogan was on my Blu-ray, but it wasn't because like what is it, like the crime scene is your mind or whatever.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but he
Yeah.
just said the dream is real, but it didn't make sense.
Yeah, and that it's and I've
Your mind is the scene of the crime.
yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I've come to realize that I really, really like heist movies.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
They're
like
good fun.
yeah. I love the Ocean's 11. I love all of them.
Okay. We're moving on now.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I like the idea of like assemble the team, plan out the heist, and when it's that's why I love the Jönssonligan movies as well.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good.
That's my dream, is to do like a reboot of the Jönssonligan series with that like Inception vibe. Like doing Jönssonligan as a serious heist movie. That would be so cool. Yeah, but
Christopher is looking mighty annoyed.
but I digress.
I can't even respond.
I don't love all of them. I love the.
There's like one that's okay.
No, they're more than.
I like the first one with the Dynamite Harry, and I love the Black Diamond one. That's really good.
Oh.
The Dr. Mabuse.
Yeah, the remake of Dr. Mabuse.
Yeah, so good. I haven't seen the new one, but
nobody watched that.
No, nobody watched that. Yeah. Sorry. Back to Inception.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like that pitch of the movie. Like the whole idea of it being a heist movie, but the heist is inside someone's dream. It's
a really, really cool concept.
Yeah, it's such a creative and cool concept,
which he pulls off.
Which he pulls off masterly. Yeah. The only weak part about it is actually Leo. I don't think he's that. It's not a very interesting character.
Yeah, it's no problem with the actor. The problem is the character is so two-dimensional.
Yeah, he's so bland.
So bland. And it's really, now that I rewatched it, Jesus Christ, his story is so boring when you know when you know it.
Yeah.
When you see it again.
And it's kind of generic.
Yeah, but I gotta say then.
Also, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in the lore of the movie.
What do you mean?
One of the things that they say it over and over again. I just saw it like
yesterday. Yeah, good.
So it's really fresh in my mind, and
I've only seen it once, actually.
Okay, okay. So they say over and over again in the beginning when Ellen Page comes in, like the new one, and they do all the exposition of the technology.
Yeah.
They go over and say that the architect creates the world, and then the dreamer, the person whose mind they are in, populates the world. So everything in the world is the dreamer's subconscious.
Yeah.
But because Leo is super special, his subconscious is in everyone's head. Like the wife who invades. And it's like, but how? Because I'm the main character and I have troubled past.
I am the chosen one, Leo.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, why? Nobody else.
Nobody
else in the movie does this. Nobody else's subconscious invades the dreamer's mind.
I see that thing, but I'm trying to. You watched it recently. The first dream they enter, when is that? They're in the car. No, wait. Yes, the car is the first time they fall asleep, right? The van.
That's the first layer, the first dream. Yes.
Yeah, and when they fall asleep there, don't they go into Leo's dream? That's Leo's subconscious, right?
No, they really don't explain it. But as I got it, the way I perceived it is, they are going into this the target's mind to change his mind. That's the whole premise of the movie. So
Yeah.
they must
Yeah.
go into his mind. They can't go in Leo's mind to change that guy's mind.
No, but that's the thing. They do go
I
into
think.
several people's. They have to go so many levels deep that they, in the dream, they go into another dream, and in that dream they go into another dream. Isn't the first dream they go into is no? It's not Leo's. That's
No, and
the
that's
the
also a
target's
thing.
target's dream, right?
Yeah, and it's also a thing that they talk about like constantly nagging about. No, we can't be in Leo's dream because if we're in his dream, his subconscious villain vibe.
Oh yeah,
we know this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't
Actually,
make
it would.
sense.
Yeah, actually, it would be kind of cool if they had, established that sometimes your own subconscious
Yeah.
leak
Like
into
bleeds.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
seems.
that's imagine if they would have done that and said, "That's a bad thing. If that happens, we have to get out because
Yeah.
you're gonna fuck up the ones
Yeah.
we're in." Like we're gonna give this person brain damage if we don't get out. Because you can't bleed into another. Your subconscious cannot be in another subconscious mind because then
Yeah.
it fucks it. That would be so cool.
But it really feels it really feels like there is a logical explanation to this thing that happens.
Why
the
she appears everywhere? Yeah.
You really feel that there is an explanation because nobody actually reacts to it, and it doesn't seem that out of place unless you think about it. So I really think that there is a scene on the cutting room floor explaining this.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm
gonna
because it's such a big gaping hole that I think they just missed really. So
and the movie's kind of convoluted and stuff,
Yeah.
so people have noticed it.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way.
So that's my biggest issue. That, and then as I mentioned earlier, most of the action scenes are boring, and the feeling stuffs is not handled well at all.
No, exactly.
And also this very complicated world it's a lot of things they don't explain that you don't understand. So you just need to, almost like watching a Transformers movie, you need to shut up the brain and just but how does that work? Don't think about it. It's complicated. It's
So you're saying that Inception is Christopher Nolan's version of a stupid popcorn movie?
yeah.
Oh snap!
This is
fired.
No, I'm just saying that once again,
it's not shots fired. This is how he perceives a simple action movie.
Yeah, exactly. This is a simple movie for him. It's just a stupid action movie. That's on the level he's working. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but
I imagine Christopher Nolan being like the architect in the Matrix.
yeah, sort of.
Yeah, so
he's an AI.
I would like to talk with you after you've just seen it and just see if I'm wrong, if I missed something.
I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think I'm gonna do that tonight, actually.
No.
Yeah, and that was your number 2, right, Martin?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, and my number 2 is Inception.
Yeah.
And I once again just what's I gonna no yeah you said in the beginning that Christopher, you said that the Dark Knight Rises is the only one that has like big plot holes, but we mentioned here that there's a lot of plot holes in Inception.
But the Dark Knight,
back.
But the Dark Knight Rises, those plot holes take me out of the movie. The Inception ones didn't.
Okay, because
I had fun all the way through, and I believed everything. But then, as soon as the credits came, I was like, "But wait a minute! How did that work?"
The thing is, there's just as many plot holes in Inception, but they're cleverly
disguised.
Yeah, they're cleverly.
Yeah, but that was the point I was going to make. That just like in The Dark Knight Rises, where the plot holes for me didn't take me out of the movie.
Yeah.
The same thing is with Inception, because that movie is just if you don't think about the plot holes, you just see it as well. They had to break the rules kind of to tell this kind of, once again, very simple story about a bunch of thieves trying to steal something, a very interesting way. Like, they're not breaking into a bank, they're breaking into a guy's brain. It's kind of like Memento. It's a pretty simple story told in a very interesting way, and that's why I kind of look past the plot holes, because the first time I watched it in the cinema back in 2010. I was thoroughly engrossed in the movie. The people say that the what do you call it, the edge of your seat kind of tension and excitement. I was literally on the edge of my seat while watching that movie. I was almost like screaming at the screen and like jumping up and down, like, "Oh, you gotta do this! Hurry, hurry, hurry!" That movie was so it was so exciting. I walking home after getting off the bus coming from the city back to my house, I was doing cartwheels because I was so excited about the movie.
I think actually the Inception is one of those movies that you only should see once. Because it's so
maybe.
great. It's such an adventure, but as soon as you see it again, the whole just starting to show.
If
when you start breaking it up, it kind of falls apart.
Because
I have a theory that in the end, when 20 years from now, only 2 of his movies are really gonna be remembered. Like 2001 is remembered. Yeah, the Kubrick. Like people watch it in cinema class.
Yeah.
And you thinking
those movies are Memento and Inception.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 people are gonna like analyze in the future, and like be required watching in cinema classes and stuff like that. Maybe Dunkirk as well. I think from the trailer it has that like timeless epic vibe.
But yeah, about Inception, that's a movie unlike Interstellar, where I think the pacing is perfect, because the movie is about about time moving forward, and them actually there's like a ticking clock all the way through the movie. They have to like hurry up. They have to get to the thing before this happens. That's what makes it so exciting, and it works better there because it feels like they have to rush through certain things. I mean, in the movie, not in the story, but in the movie. So the pacing is always like super high. I mean, the pulse is going like throughout the entire movie, and it's just and as an action movie connoisseur, I think for me the action scenes are mostly super exciting, and unlike some lesser action movies where they just inject like has to be a car chase or an explosion, these scenes actually make sense in the context of the movie. The action is not just there for the sake of being action.
I disagree.
So that's
on that point.
Okay, well, yeah, you just watched it. I'm probably going to rewatch it tonight then. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I remember it.
I disagree with the action. I think it feels really forced, and it's really one of those. I was thinking about an example, but I couldn't come up with it. So you, as an action connoisseur, you maybe can. A movie where the plot just stops for an action scene and then continues after the action scene. Movies that does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it really
I know there's a movie. It's hard to just. But I know there's the movie. Called Crying Freeman, with Mark Dacascos in the lead role.
Oh yeah.
Where the tagline is an explosive action scene every 7 minutes. That's the tagline for the movie. That's
really?
Kind of why. Yes. That's what they like. That's what they said on the poster.
I remember seeing that movie in the movie rental place here in Skogås when I was a kid, and never like watched the cover and was like, no.
I did actually watch it back then. I can't remember it. Yes, but I can't remember it.
Watch it.
Yeah. And I guess that goes to show that you can't just inject action for action's sake, because then you kind of forget about the movie.
We haven't seen it. Maybe it's a hidden gem.
Well, yeah. Well, I did see it and I forgot it. So,
Yeah, but back to Inception, I would say that the action, it's mostly like, yeah, there's a reason for the action scenes, but it really feels at some points that they're. I think the first action scene, you know, when Tom Hardy has the grenade launcher, that scene,
Yeah.
that scene really is. They're talking. The plot is going forward. We're gonna do this. They're making a plan, and then they're saying people are coming, and then nobody talks for a few minutes where there are explosions, and then we gotta go, and then they go. But that just like nothing happens except action for a few minutes.
Well,
and it starts with now they come, and then nobody says
I
anything.
suppose.
It's like,
but another one of the greatest scenes that I remember. It's been a while since I saw it. But one scene that I really remember liking is the fight scene with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
oh yeah, the corridor scene.
Yeah,
that's the
corridor
one
scene.
that Christopher mentioned. Yeah,
that's
one of the
Sorry,
better ones.
I zoned out for a
Oh
bit.
yeah, I said there are two action scenes that are really
okay,
exciting
sorry.
and really brilliant, and that's one of them.
Yeah, and then there's the foot chase in Africa.
Yeah, the footage in Africa, which is barely an action scene.
Okay, I'm watching it tonight.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
But that so exactly that's for me that is just I don't know if you would call it. It is just one of those shut your brain off popcorn movies, but it is so much.
It's a bit more clever than that.
Yeah, exactly. It feels, I don't know why it feels mean to say that. Oh, it's much smarter and more cleverer than other popcorn movies, but it is, and that's why I really, really enjoyed it. It's a stupid blockbuster movie done the right way.
no, I would put it in the same category as Matrix, the first one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that falls into the same thing. It's kind of a silly action movie, but it's so well made.
Yeah,
And it has
it's
a good
wrapped
story.
in interesting ideas. So
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Clever.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, that's my argument for number 2.
Mhm.
Christopher, you're number 1. Which one is it?
So it's The Prestige, which is
okay.
favorite Nolan movie ever. I think it's the one I've seen most times. Over
I
15
couldn't
times.
imagine watching that a second time. Actually,
I
Yeah,
have a hard time thinking about that.
I've seen it a lot, more than 15 times easily.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
I have like the super imported special editions and stuff.
I said that earlier that I remember you really recommending it to me when we were in high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds kind of sucky.
I just really think it's a great movie, and a lot of the things that you guys were saying as a negative, I see as a positive. As I don't know, one of you said it that you need to see it several times to get it fully. That's a good thing, I would say, because every time you see it, you notice something new. It's that's what they were doing. That's what they were doing,
and it has to be entertaining the first time.
Well, I think it is.
Yeah, exactly. But I gotta say that's the thing. I also not always, but sometimes I think it's a good thing when you have to watch a movie several times. Like Donnie Darko is a good example of that. You don't get it the first. At least I didn't. I did not get it the first time.
I didn't get it the third time or the fourth time.
In both Donnie Darko and The Prestige, you get the overarching story. Point A, point B, point C. You get that, but you don't get most of the details. And that's what I like. That when you've seen Prestige the first one, the first time, you're like, okay, I get it, but how about these things? And this didn't make sense. And when did this happen? Then you see it again, and then so it all does make sense. I just didn't get it. And then you see it the third time, and like, and these things, I never even noticed these things.
Yeah, but that's. I said kind of snarkily that it has to be entertaining the first time.
Yeah.
It is entertaining. It's a good movie in that way. But I, as I said, I can't imagine watching it again.
No, that's my argument as well. That you definitely benefit from a second viewing, but I did not feel compelled to watch it a second time because I didn't think it was
I can't
on the base level. It
watching
wasn't
it again.
exciting enough.
Also-
I mean, I have watched it several times, but it was not like I was like, oh, I'm gonna put it in again directly after watching it the first time. It wasn't like I didn't get that feeling.
Also, I think a big thing that you don't share is I really like magicians. I think
exactly. Yeah, that's
Well-
a big turnoff for me. So
Yeah, your Dungeons and Dragons character shows that.
And also another thing that I really like about the movie, that this theme of the I don't remember what it is, which is, it was maybe a year ago I watched it last. So, but the
Okay.
what is the prestige is the third thing. They say three things. The reveal.
There's 3 parts to every magic
Yeah.
trick or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
And if you
illusion.
The Prestige.
Yeah, it's the
No, but it's
yeah,
called the setup, the fake out or whatever, and then it's the
Oh, yeah.
prestige. I don't remember them. Yeah.
something I've noticed since I've seen it a few times is that the movie, like every character arc and every story in the movie, goes by those 3 acts, and also the complete movie does. And it's really cleverly done that they keep talking about this, and if you take a step back and watch it, everything in the movie goes that way. And has the same ups and downs. So even, I think it's the first scene, they tell you how the entire movie will play out in very broad strokes, obviously. And it's just a lot of these complex thoughts and complex things that everything intersects. And I think it's one of Nolan's movies that doesn't have a plot hole. Not that I can find, at least.
Now I gotta watch that too. Damn it!
Yeah.
I'm gonna be up all night.
And yes, I agree. The cloning thing is kind of weird and kind of from nowhere. It's kind of
Also, I remembered something that I was like, I remember being like sighing when when I saw it. That Tesla is played by David Bowie.
No, he's good as Tesla. I think.
Yeah.
You know, I just felt like, oh, you're trying to be clever. That was.
No.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that casting because I didn't see Nikola Tesla. I saw David Bowie.
Oh, really?
Really?
I didn't even notice it was David.
No, he looks like an
That's
old,
the first thing I saw.
pudgy guy with a mustache. He doesn't even look like David Bowie.
Like David Bowie.
What? No, David Bowie is this lanky, kind of weird-looking guy. And this was a little grandpa with a mustache. Ooh, you know. I don't know, and I get to argue that. I mean, he is usually or he was, rest in peace. He was a pretty terrible actor, except for The Prestige, I would say.
True.
But that's also I didn't buy him at all. His accent was off. And he just basically stood there spouting weird stuff about
that was what I was gonna say. That role, that character didn't really need much.
I loved the idea of having Nikola Tesla until you actually saw Nikola Tesla. Okay. It would have been so much cooler if he was just like an unseen character.
Yeah.
He would have been more mythical in that way. I really liked it when it was no, he's not entertaining any visitors.
I agree. I agree that would have been more effectful. But I know personally, I would be mad if they didn't show him. I would be like, just fucking show him. But it would be more effective, yes. But I don't think I would like the movie as much. But as I was gonna say, with the cloning thing, it's out there. It really doesn't make sense in like if you compare it with the rest of the movie. Yeah. But I think it was to show that the lengths he would go to get to
that was that,
and you couldn't really show for him to be. Wait, let me find the words. He couldn't be an illusionist, a magician, so he had to become a real magician with real magic, even though that's not what he wanted to be. and that's not what he said. But he was so bad at being illusionist that he had to become a magician. It's like
he was so
Yeah,
bad
exactly.
at being an illusionist, so he became a scientist.
yeah,
He basically had to. He had to cheat, but in cheating, he discovered cloning. So
yeah, exactly. And that I think it's that this the symbolism and just how it's presented, I think it makes up for the big what the fuck is this? I think it makes up for it.
yeah, I was
Personally.
thinking of that too, which is a thing that I've said about a few of the bigger plot holes in Nolan's movies.
Hmm.
In the context of his story, I think he like breaks the rules of the movie to be able to tell the story he wants to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
They had cloning in the 1890s because otherwise the movie doesn't work.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
justifies it. No, but I think it justifies it because at least me when I watched it, I did not have a problem with the cloning thing. For me, it was the actors and that I was confused, but the actual cloning thing didn't bother me. That was a cool reveal, I thought, in the end.
Yeah. And it showed the sacrifice, and it was like
exactly, yeah.
He was for the character.
He was killing himself over and over again. That's scary.
Just because he didn't have a twin.
Yeah, exactly.
So
instead, he murdered himself.
Yeah,
hundreds of times.
So yeah, and yeah, I love that movie. I can see it how many times, endlessly.
Rewatched that and Inception. So
yeah. So yeah, that's mine.
Yes, Martin, you're number 2. You're number 1. I mean, you're number 1.
Dark Knight.
What? No, I'm kidding.
Nobody could see that coming.
Yeah.
No. You're gonna be real surprised when I tell you my number 1.
It's kind of a stupid idea doing a top list when he hasn't done that many.
Yeah, exactly.
That was almost a joke. I gotta say, just the joke was that we were going to make. No, but because I looked up how many movies he had made, and there were 9 of them, and Dunkirk was going to be the 10th. So my actual thought was that we were going to do a top 10, like and a top 10 is all of his movies.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a bad movie. That was the joke, kind of. But I thought, no, we haven't watched it. That's stupid.
Do you have anything that we haven't said about the Dark Knight?
No, not really.
No.
But it's one of those movies that I could watch 100 times.
Yeah.
Not. I would need like a month between. but it's a really good superhero movie. It's a really good crime.
He's not a superhero.
Oh, okay. A hero movie.
He's a vigilante.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you could compare The Dark Knight with Death Wish. Is that what
sure. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Martin. Come on.
No. Which reminds me, we have to see Death Wish.
Yeah. No, we have to watch Death Wish 3 and 4 because those are the funny ones.
Oh, okay.
Those are the canon movies.
I haven't seen the first Death Wish.
Don't have to. They're all the same movie.
Okay. But I thought seeing the original would be... Yeah. Oh, okay. Dark Knight. Great movie.
Yes.
Great actors. Yes. Great. I'm not going to... Yeah. It's a great movie.
Yeah. And my number 1 is, drum roll, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I can't believe it. He picked that one? No, and I do have to mention a couple of things. First of all, I could not watch it once a month because just like with The Dark Knight Rises, there are a few things in the movie, plot holes, and like a few things with the pacing in that movie that I felt, because I've only watched it like 3 times since it came out, or now I've watched it more, but like 3 or 4 times. And I do feel that if I would have watched it more than that, I would start noticing little things, and I do not want to do that because at a first viewing, that was like I'm pretty sure I called it my favorite movie of all time back then. It's not now, but it's like for a while I was like, it's the greatest movie ever made. Fuck Lawrence of Arabia. Fuck The Godfather. It's The Dark Knight. Come on, come on. It's The Dark Knight. And I would still rank it very high on my like top 10 all-time movie list. And a big part of that is because it really bridged the gap better than any other movie, at least at that. No, still, I think it's the best bridging movie between, you know, well, it's a good comic book movie and it's actually a good movie. That movie does that. It's not just a good comic book movie. That is a good movie. It's a great movie. I think it handles Batman the way you should handle him. Like he's not the protagonist; he's the hero of the story. There's a big difference there. If you went to film school, right? There's the protagonist and there's the hero.
Yeah.
Like Luke Skywalker is the protagonist and Han Solo is the hero. That's like one of the examples people usually use. And I think that's how Batman works the best, because Batman, while, you know, he's cool with the cape and everything, he's kind of a boring character. I mean, Batman is. Bruce Wayne is interesting, but Batman is kind of boring. So they utilize him perfectly in The Dark Knight as the sort of side character, the hero that gets things done. While the movie is actually about Harvey Dent. And I think that is just ingenious to sideline Batman in a Batman movie. It's just, I don't know. That's very, very clever. And a thing we haven't mentioned. Yeah, and it works. That's the thing. It's very cocky, but it works. And a thing we haven't mentioned, which I don't know, you know, if it's cliche or anything, but Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mention him because
it's so
all has been said.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But I felt we had to mention it.
Yeah. Also, I've been thinking since I said The Dark Knight so moments ago about my thoughts about Two-Face. Just to clarify, I would keep Harvey Dent's story. I would keep his story intact with the same things. I just would take away the coin and the half-burned face.
I thought that was what you meant.
Yeah, it was what I meant. It was just if that came across.
It came across for me.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So
it was good that you clarified.
Yeah, it's not that I want to change his story arc. I just think it was like a gimmicky to put in. He's Two-Face now. It I don't know. It didn't work, I thought.
Yeah, no, and like you could almost argue that they wrote him as a regular person, but then as they were writing, it's like, oh wait, that's Two-Face, and they kind of called him Two-Face.
Yeah,
maybe it feels like that almost.
Yeah, and
but I loved that when he does the whole when he worked at the Internal Affairs.
They called him Two-Face.
Yeah, when he does that whole thing. When he does that whole thing with Commissioner Gordon, I love that.
Wow.
I kind of it's schlocky. I agree that it is, but I liked it because I liked that dialogue exchanged. I can't really explain wwhy I liked it.
No.
I did.
Just clarifying what I meant with the cutting out Two-Face.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the big arguments for me is Heath Ledger as the Dark Knight. Before saying Tom Hardy is one of the greatest on-screen villains, I would argue that Heath Ledger as the Joker is the greatest on-screen villain.
Yeah.
At least in the way he portrays it.
Not certain if he's the greatest villain. He's the greatest like hero movie villain. But I think if we definitely. When it comes to comic book movies. Yeah, because if we like start to involve Hannibal Lecter and so on, that
was the exact one I was thinking of. Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's the greatest in comic book movies and one of the greatest villains.
Just the feat of making the Joker a character in a real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and making him serious.
yeah, making him fit in the context of the real world. And what would the Joker be in the real world? Yeah, kind of an anarchist. Yeah, kind of an anarchist, and that works so well.
I still think that's one of the best things to this day, when the internet was so angry because he was cast as the Joker.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah.
it. I still.
Everyone's like, no,
I remember.
idiot. Fuck Heath Ledger.
I remember
Yeah.
when I saw that he was cast, I was like, "What? The dude from A Knight's Tale?"
Yeah.
I wasn't angry. I was just confused. And then when that first picture leaked,
Oh yeah, I remember you
Yeah.
were over the moon when that picture
yeah,
came
I
out.
was sold. Just I hadn't seen him act
And
or
wasn't that-
or anything. I just saw that picture and I was like, yeah.
Wasn't that picture also like blurry or through a mirror or through glass or something?
No, it's
yeah,
not
that was one of them. But there was like this, like a headshot almost, where he was like looking down at the camera like this, and you saw his scars. But he wasn't in full makeup.
Yeah, that one.
That was the first picture.
That one, right? Yeah. I was thinking about the one
mirror,
with the mirror or something.
Yeah, I like that one because
Yeah,
that was a proper
also
behind the
great.
scenes photo. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was also kind of apprehensive at first, but I'm trying to look up. My computer is about to start melting here. Can any of you? Yeah, the processor here is working on full gear. Can any of you look up what year Brokeback Mountain came out?
I'm on it.
I want to kill my computer here.
Yeah, while he's looking it up, I remember I had
2005.
2005. Yeah,
2000, yes.
3 years before.
Yes, and I hadn't watched Brokeback Mountain when it was new. I watched it maybe like a year before The Dark Knight. So it was up until then I was like, oh, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You, the guy from Knight's Tale. But then I saw Brokeback Mountain. I was like, oh, well, now I like the idea, because that really cemented him as a real actor for me.
The fun thing is, I don't like Brokeback Mountain. I think it's such a boring movie.
Oh, okay.
Which it's like every other Ang Lee movie. It's long. It's okay. Sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna be over here for a while now.
Yeah.
No. Okay. No. I'm sorry. I just.
You don't agree?
I do not agree.
Yeah.
It's one of the
I
few
like
movies
some of his
where
movies.
I'm just gonna say about Brokeback Mountain. It's one of the movies where I watched it. I bawled my eyes out in the ending, and every viewing after that, I still fucking just break down by that that ending. It's one of those movies. It really hits me.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying I get the movie.
I
and
rewatched it.
And it's a nice story, but it's too long. It's so boring.
I'm really in the middle of both you. I really love that movie, but I don't think I have the nerve to see it again because it's so slow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're not going to argue about Ang Lee movies now, but okay. That's just, yeah. I just wanted to mention that was why I thought that he could actually pull off the Joker, because he's a legitimate actor now.
Yeah. Are you coughing, Christopher?
Shut up.
I guess that's my main argument, that really made people look at comic book movies in a different way.
Yeah,
that people were like saying that this isn't just a comic movie, this is a real movie, and to this day there are very few comic book movies that actually transcends just being comic book movies. Sort of like the same thing as you don't call James Bond movies action movies, you call them James Bond movies.
Yeah,
but then you get to Skyfall and it's actually a good action movie. It's some kind of the same thing with The Dark Knight.
The fun part about it, just because it's such a great movie that inspired and changed the way we look at superhero movies and comic book movies, and every the thing is, that's only been detrimental to to comic book movies that's come after, because they all try to do that, like it's in the real world, or they try to, like it's dark and gritty, and it doesn't work. I haven't seen one movie pull that off since.
Guys,
No,
I need to wrap this up. We've been talking for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know if you're gonna continue, but I need to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
you
really
can-
need to go to the bathroom as well.
Okay.
But I would like to just talk to you quickly, Christopher,
Oh, right.
before you leave.
Okay.
When it's not live,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could talk to both of you actually. So.
Yeah, but if it's not streaming related, we're gonna do that after then.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not streaming.
Let's just wrap this up. If you want to hop out now, Christopher, that's okay.
Oh yeah.
I'll wrap it up with.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks for.
Bye.
Bye. Yes. So
Yeah.
I just to wrap it up then. I would say that the only other superhero movie I watched after this, or comic book movie, at least when it comes to the big ones, the Marvel movies and all that, the only one that comes close, and I talked to Christopher about this when we talked about Marvel movies, that is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That also almost transcends being just a comic book movie and becoming a real movie, if you will.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a Bond movie. It's
like almost like a spy thriller with more explosions and more flying ships.
I don't like Winter Soldier, but I get the vibe they were trying to.
Yeah, they were trying to make a more serious movie, trying to ground it more in reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So that's our lists.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This
Definitely.
has been so fun.
Yeah. The chat has been very quiet though, because you weren't.
Yeah, because I wasn't
in it.
there. Yeah. I remembered like 2 minutes ago. So fuck, I could have shared this on my Facebook. Then maybe we.
Oh, you should have.
I should have. Sorry about that.
Yes. No, it's okay. We have one viewer right now. I don't know if that's you, maybe.
I think that's me, because I said that I was going to have the chat. I've been checking it like every 5 minutes.
But yeah, I usually the streaming thing is just because it's easier to do a long form podcast like that. Yeah. I usually get more views on the archive version. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's our stories, our lists. Thanks for being here, Martin. You're welcome back when I figure out what the next one's going to be.
Great.
Do you want to plug anything? I don't know if you have a YouTube channel? I know you have a SoundCloud. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, but it's not really anything that I could plug.
Okay.
It's more music related, because I make music.
Yeah, but if you want to plug any, I mean, that's what I meant. If you want to plug anything that you're doing.
Nah, not really.
Okay.
I don't want people listening to my music. I make it for myself.
Yeah. Okay.
It's me and what's his name from John Frusciante.
Yeah. He makes music for himself.
Yeah. He doesn't want to release albums anymore.
No.
Because he just makes music for himself. The thing is, he's such a brilliant man, but he seems like such a douche.
No. But
when you say stuff like that, you're a douche, basically.
Well.
And I just think so.
I think because if no one would have asked him, he wouldn't have said it. I think this is that thing. You just want to be honest. But anyway, I want to plug that this Friday, me and Danny from the last stream are going to be back. We're going to talk about movie news, and I'm not sure yet, but that might be a recurring thing on the channel every Friday. Not gonna cement that right now, but as it looks right now, there might be a regular stream every Friday where we talk about movie news. So that's what I want to plug. But that's it. And until Friday, have a good one.
Goodbye.